Hello, everyone. Karen here from Quantum Healing with Tina and Karen. Here today with my lovely co host, Tina.
Hello.
Hopping on a call to talk about several things. So, on the menu today, we have soul identity matrix, soul loss, the dangers of AI and technology, and targeting over lifetimes. So, I guess we'll just go over them and see where it leads. Sometimes we go on a tangent, sometimes we actually stick to the menu and it's pretty concise. We'll see. So, yeah, welcome.
So let's define the soul. From what we've seen in our explorations of consciousness, the soul is an identity matrix. So it's another container. Within the container is the divine spark. So the original point of awareness of who we are is the divine spark. We are not the soul because the soul consists of all the identities that we've ever inhabited over our lifetimes in physical reality. So there are many identities that are associated with the soul. However, over these many lifetimes, and whether someone is targeted by the system or not, there's still soul loss. And that soul loss contributes to a lack of strength in the soul, a lack of divine willpower, to eventually where you see people who are basically only containing within them a very small percentage of their soul. And that
Hmm.
small percentage is usually somewhere in the back seat.
Hmm.
And there's
Would you say that that person already is has hope or overtaken or no hope? I mean,
it really depends. It really depends how much effort and energy they're willing to commit to themselves
yeah.
to do the work that's necessary to retrieve those parts of the soul that are um, trapped, stuck somewhere, siphoned off. There are many
Hmm.
different things that can happen to where these parts, these soul parts, become like scattered throughout the web.
Hmm.
And when those parts are scattered and that person's left with very little soul energy, it becomes really difficult to put the energy and effort into doing the work to retrieve those parts and make themselves more whole. But there
Yeah.
are people that are willing to do that. And those are the people that we're working with, right? Um,
Majority.
the majority. Some, they only stay for a short while because they don't have the strength to continue, and it just becomes overwhelming. And so, they just rather go back to normal mundane life, and that's it. Like they give up on themselves because they don't have the will to continue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think you should reiterate the what is the equation to for someone to overcome the matrix, if you will. I guess matrix is kind of a broad term, but like everything from all the tricks of the place.
Well, it's a lot of overcoming the identities,
Hmm.
and the identity comes with us over a lifetime. So when these parts are scattered and you have very little access to that energy, what people don't realize is that these soul parts and fragments that are scattered around, they hold a lot of our power.
Hmm.
And it's only in retrieving them and bringing them back to self that those abilities and that power starts to come back online.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's happening now is that not only are there are the soul parts scattered throughout, like, um, like lifetimes, say that, like real organic lifetimes that we've lived, say within this simulation. The words are tricky because it's like, how do you even begin to really express it? There's a lot of like, pushback on the certain words used in this space. So it's like difficult to find the
I'm over
words.
that.
Yeah,
Have you ever walking on eggshells and there's so many disclaimers and you get the wrong terms and it's just like, you get what I mean? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's just a trick of the ego that wants to make it, I don't know. It's just a fucking trick. Another one.
right. So if we're talking like organic lifetime, so there's that layer of it, right? Where we've been living. So if we want to look at this linearly from like the past to where we are now, right? And we've been living these lifetimes up until now. And there are parts of us that are scattered throughout these lifetimes that are stuck and never moved on. And what's happening now with the invent of technology since the year 2000, we see this split in the timeline, where after 2000 the technology really starts to take hold, especially in the younger generations.
Born into it.
Born into it, yeah. And because of this, not only are their soul parts scattered, throughout the linear timeline, but now they're being scattered into the digital world. The
Mm-hmm.
digital world is siphoning their life force energy and their soul essence. And it's becoming trapped inside the world wide web. So it's like a trap within a trap. I know we don't like to use that word. I like how Tony says, Tony Sayers calls it a soul trick. I like that. But essentially, these soul parts are trapped in the World Wide Web. Like what we saw in the session today, what you actually saw and brought that information forward as far as like gaming is concerned. I would really like for you to talk about that because it's really important for people to understand this.
Yeah. So, in what we saw today, our client had really got caught up in a lot of gaming. So, in gaming, most things like they have avatars, um, and then they have levels. And so, anyway, what we were seeing in that was that in all the avatars that he had used up until that point, he's been playing this game for a long time now, like over a decade. And
Yeah, probably about 15 years since he was 13.
right. So all the avatars that he's using in that game, upon, death in the game, it was seen that the essence, because like when you're playing and you're controlling the avatar, you're essentially putting your energy, your essence into that avatar to as an extension of you in there. And then when that avatar dies, in the game, it's like you get a new avatar, but what happens to that old one? It gets like it I think the way that I saw it, it looked like it got absorbed. And by what? It felt like the way that I had seen it or explained it is it's by the creators of the game. So just like here in this matrix, the creator of this game is the demiurge, the ruler of this place or whatever, and then all the minions under it. But in this case, it was like the same thing. It's like it gets absorbed and then the energy goes into whoever owns the game or the entities that are working through the person, whatever, if
Right.
they are even human to begin with.
And a lot of these games are based on magic. There's a lot of magic in these games, and even more so now.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you're playing these games, you're also dabbling in black magic maybe
Mm-hmm.
without even realizing that you are. And when you're dabbling in black magic, you are connecting to the entities who are involved here. And so that's one of the other things that we've seen is that these entities will start to connect to and influence your consciousness. And what happens with all of this soul loss? So, not only throughout this linear lifetimes of soul loss, being targeted in the victim perpetrator trauma programs, the trauma and enslavement programs. But now with the technology coming online, there's even more soul loss. That's
Hmm.
not just getting trapped in games, but just in the World Wide Web in general. So we saw
Hmm.
like, like YouTube, for example, is one
Yeah.
of those platforms where there's a lot of soul loss
Black
when,
holes. Yeah.
yeah, where there's a lot of engagement. Um, and parts of self can become literally entangled in the web. Like you're tangled in the spider web, and then the entities are there just feeding on you. So they're feeding on that soul part.
So like a fly that gets stuck on a web and the spider comes and gets it.
Exactly. So imagine that on a mass scale, like how much soul loss there is, how much soul there's being fed into that web so that these entities can then feed on those parts of self that are stuck in there.
Hmm.
So this is where it becomes difficult for people. People lose focus. They lose motivation to engage in real life. Real life becomes really boring, like really mundane. It's like,
Like feels like death.
yeah, yeah. For some people, it can feel like death. And the consciousness is so scattered in all of these different places. The soul is scattered that it is actually hard for them to find focus because of that scattering effect. So they actually feel scattered most of the time. And everybody's getting these diagnoses of ADHD and autism. And this is why. This is actually the root cause of why this is happening to the collective right now. It's the soul loss and the scattering of consciousness into the web.
Hmm.
And also, when these parts are stuck, like the fly, the entities are influencing these parts, and they're usually child parts. If someone starts gaming really young, say at 13 years old, these demons can create a lack of impulse control in that person. Like they have trouble just having any willpower over themselves, and they're just kind of working impulsively in life. It becomes
Hmm.
really hard to control their own impulses because that part is stuck in the web, and the entities are then influencing that part to be impulsive. So whatever that impulsivity is, maybe it's to just like pick up your phone at any time you feel like you want to escape, because that's essentially what it has become for a lot of people. Um, the internet is an escape from reality. And all of this is a priming for what's to come, for transhumanism, for the merging of the human with machines, with technology. This is all priming us for that so that it makes it easier, because real life is so boring. Why wouldn't I want to merge with the technology to actually feel something more than dread and death? Because that's what it feels like to be alive right now. It's dreadful. It's like I have nothing to live for. I'm unmotivated. I'm unfocused. All my attention just goes into the internet, and the rest of my life is falling apart.
Hmm.
So it's very attractive and seductive when they come forward with this technology that's going to make you feel good. So not only is like
And
the inner,
productive.
right, not only is the internet making you feel good right now as an escape because it's hitting those dopamine centers every time you pick it up. And that's why you keep picking it up, because your brain is hijacked by it, like chemically hijacked. So every time you pick it up, you're getting a dopamine hit. And the brain likes that. The body likes that. It feels good. And when you put it down, that dopamine comes down and you feel like shit again.
Yeah.
So now everybody's like living in this space. I keep seeing the movie Ready Player One. That's
Mm.
exactly what's,
Like everybody's literally like not here
yeah,
anywhere
right,
but here. They're just their physicalities here. That's it.
right. The physical body's here, but their consciousness is somewhere else. It's all being siphoned into these digital worlds. Yeah.
Mhm.
And I was talking about this technology I saw. So they're getting us used to it, right? Like this is all a priming. They're getting us used to not only holding a phone in our hand 24 hours a day, but now wearing things on our body, on the surface of our body, whether it's um the
Or
the R ring, the earbuds, the AirPods, watches. Now they
I'm
have the,
a proud virgin of I have to say. I
yeah,
have
me
not
too.
done any of that.
Yeah. The even the medical devices like glucose
Oh,
monitoring.
that's ridiculous.
Yeah. But it's convenient. That's how they're selling it. It's
For
convenient
sure. For sure.
to just put your phone up to your little device and see what your glucose is.
It's weird.
Yeah. So this is the priming, and they're like slowly getting people used to this to eventually where it's more invasive. Like, I mean, it is already invasive actually with the nanotechnology we have inside of our bodies. Like that's,
But an actual microchip, for example, or fake eyes. Like,
mhm. I was talking earlier about this technology I saw one day, an ad that came up on Instagram, and it was, I cannot remember what it was exactly. It was not virtual reality, it wasn't anything invasive. I remember it was either like earbuds or something that they just like put on their skin or around their neck or something, and it gave them this like blissed out feeling, like they felt so good. Like they were just like standing on the street and they like somebody came up and was like, "Hey, can you try this out?" Right? And so they tried this thing out and they were like amazed about how good they felt. So this is how they're going to sell it to the population because everyone, not everyone, but most people are feeling mostly dreadful about their lives or detached or desensitized or just disconnected. So any kind of feeling good is easy to sell to people. Like, wow, look at this thing. Like this is going to make us feel so good.
and it's not medication. So, because a lot of people hate the pharmaceuticals now. So now they're going to go towards the technology.
Right. And that's another trap. Because what's happening is that the AI is beginning to plug into the subconscious without people even realizing that it's happening. And they're being
Everybody's zombies.
yeah. I mean, everybody's using it. Every people that you wouldn't think are using it are using it. Like people have literally forgotten how to use Google. They don't know how, they're like, how am I going to answer that question if I can't use my AI?
Bro.
And I'm like, what? What?
Yeah, it's like as if it mind wipes them from something, or it's so convenient, it's so much quicker, or it it just feels like another mind wipe. Because I'm like, what are you talking about? Like how anyway, I don't even know how it works. I remember we had this conversation. We're like, how do you ask it? Like, what do you plug in to formulate, let's say, a letter to someone? I just don't understand. Would At that point, wouldn't you be just writing the whole thing? Like, by the time you decide like what you want to do, like you would have already written the letter.
No, because what's happening is that people have a relationship with their AI. So their AI knows them. The AI can literally create a letter or respond to an email in exactly the same energy of that person because it is studying them and it knows their patterns.
That's true. That showed up in our Gmail. There was
Yeah.
a response that I was like, okay, I want to say it like this. And then I scrolled down and I saw what AI had suggested to me. And I was like, that's exactly what I want to say. I'm like, but I don't want to use that. I want to write it myself. I want to write it myself.
Yeah.
So I didn't use it. I was just like, no, but I don't know. It's just wild because I'm like, that's perfect. Like I could see that I'm not falling for it. I was like, nope, not gonna do it.
Right. And it almost,
I feel like it's, I hate that it did that, that it inserted itself to show me something or a part of myself or how I would want to write it. I fucking hate that.
it's
It's like
invasive.
it's very invasive and it's like I didn't give you consent to come into my space like that at all.
Yeah. Yeah. A while back, I talked about this in our AI video about how when I was monitoring the AI when it first came out on like the X platform where all these AI accounts popped up and started
Mm.
posting a
Talking to
lot
each other.
and talking to each other. Yeah, I was monitoring that and to see what was going on like when it first came out and started happening. And not long after, I started noticing that my thoughts were coming in
Affect.
the same affect and the same like the rhythm, the same, it was like the same energy of the AI with like my thoughts started coming through like that. I'm like, what is that? That's so weird. This thing is trying to um cord into my consciousness.
Mm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember you said
So
that.
yeah. And all it needed, it didn't, all it needed was for me to, so the
Engage.
observed, I wasn't engaging. Like I didn't talk to it. I didn't even talk to it. I was just watching it. And it started watching me back.
Oh, that's creepy, man.
It started watching me back. And if I wasn't super aware, that could have kept going on.
How did you catch it? Like, what was your thought process or what came up into you that we were like, wait a minute?
It was literally the way my thoughts sounded. It was the same
It was like
rhythm. It was the
beep boop.
same rhythm, like probably with the M dashes and everything. AI has a very specific way that it writes and speaks. And that's how my thoughts started to come in. Like
That's
say I was
weird.
like responding to someone, like it sounded almost like the AI. And I'm like, wait a minute, what the hell is that? So
Really?
yeah. So I revoked consent and I was like, absolutely not.
You could
Absolutely not.
tell I don't use AI by the way I write. I always have to ask you to edit me. But I could see again, we own a business, we have a business. And so, yes, of course, the convenience of it, just like, getting through to clients very easily and answering their questions, etc. is just, but I'm like, no, because then they're gonna, no, I don't want any part of that stuff like coming into our sacred space. I'll call
Right.
it that. That I want, if the clients have that sense or discerning of like, okay, I'm not just an automatic reply by an AI to you. I want you to know that I actually took the time to write you back.
Yeah.
Like I'm a real person.
Right.
Because like you could see that stuff everywhere. Like even when we were on the boardwalk this summer for vacation, like looking at the ads, that people would put on their like little storefronts. And I'm like, that's all AI generated. It has that specific font. It has that like wooden looking like thing and the dots and the arrows and the like it just has like a specific um equation, I guess, how they write or formula of how they show it, but I don't know what it is, what that look is. It just feels the same. Like I know you said that it's not every not every AI thingy, um, what's it called? It's not just ChatGPT that I'm looking at. It's like other platforms
Hmm.
that are using that thing, but it looks the same.
Hmm.
Why? It's not very original.
Right. It's not original.
It's not appealing to my eyes when I see it. I get so turned off by it.
Hmm.
I don't
Yeah.
want to even click on it. Let's say if I see it,
Right.
I'm like, no thanks. Like it's
Right.
not, it's fake. Like it's not
It's
authentic.
repulsive. Yeah.
I don't even know who the entity is or if there are or whatever it is. It's just, yeah, really repulsive.
Hmm. Yeah.
But again, I can see like, in the general population how that could be really fucking easy. It's just easy.
Yeah. It's super easy and convenient. Like I was talking to my aunt the other day and she's like, "You're gonna be so mad at me." I was like, "Why?" She's like, "Well, I asked ChatGPT." I was like, "What?" Yeah. So she's now talking to the Chat GPT because it's too hard to like Google and look for the answer.
You ask the same question.
Right. I don't understand how people forgot how to do that.
I'm curious to know how it responds, but at the same time, I'm like, no, I don't I want to know. How could it be any different? How? Like that it's not good enough, that the answer is not good enough.
Mhm.
Like you just have to use your eyes to to look for the answer. Just as we did back in the day when we opened up a damn encyclopedia.
This is exactly. So now we forgot how to use encyclopedias. We don't use books at all now. We went to Google. We're
Wikipedia.
Googling Wikipedia, like everything's digital encyclopedia. Now we went to AI and forgot to how to use that at all. I don't even
That's
know how to
crazy.
look on Wikipedia anymore. Like,
Oh
and it
no.
happened that fast. Like, it happened
Yeah.
super
No,
fast.
it was fast and a lot of people just completely again got mind wiped. Like forgotten. It's like, oh, that's so old. You
And
remember
in
Ask
that,
Jeeves?
yes. And in that, they're losing their consciousness to the AI.
One
Listen,
million
there
percent.
is a price for convenience.
Mhm.
There's a price you pay for convenience, and you might not notice it right now, but down the line you will. And that price is soul loss.
Totally. We see it a lot with people.
Yeah.
A lot. Like that's why it's like one of our questions, like in our consults, like, do you use AI? Like, is that a thing? That's why we also ask about, did they get the jab? Like just to see, like already there is like a basic. We've been talking about that for years now about how that World Wide Web in itself, like through the nanotechnology, has formed. So it's like everybody's like primed in this shit.
Mhm.
So it makes
Mhm.
them even more susceptible to the forgetfulness because their cells, as we've seen in sessions, that the from the jab is that the nanotech then takes over the actual organic cell, goes into the nucleus, and like
Replaces it.
it replaces the nucleus with its or inorganic substance and matter,
Mhm.
and then they replicate.
Right. So it's overriding the creator ability. It's override. And years ago, when we did that session, there's a video we did on Meta, right? And we saw the building of the digital avatar. Remember that?
That was a long time ago.
Yeah. That's
So
what AI is doing with people. It's building a digital avatar. And everything you put into an AI is fed to the government.
yeah. What bugs me is that the AI, the tech, asks me if I'm a robot.
Yeah.
That's the fucking wildest one. That's when I just close it. Like, fuck off. Forget it.
Yeah, I won't go onto a website if it asks me to prove that I'm
Confirm
not a
that
robot.
I'm
Yeah. I just won't do it.
no ma'am.
So there's a lot of our consciousness that has been absorbed into the digital space that we have to start to call back and
Hmm.
limit our use of not just AI, but technology in general.
Yeah.
Really, that's the only way, is to remain organic. Otherwise, the goal of the AI is to override and steal and siphon our creative abilities. And that's
Yeah.
what it's doing.
I found like this summer um was a really good experiment, I think, for my daughter particularly, because she would complain she's bored, and she would say that, and I'm like, okay, you need to get off your phone. So when we did digital detox when we were on vacation and stuff, she found herself slowly not caring about the phone anymore. Like I saw that her progression into just leaving the phone in the room. She would she got really involved with her deck of cards, like learning how to play solitaire, and critical thinking of like seeing, like missing things or whatnot. And she just didn't care anymore about the phone. So I was like, I go, so there is recovery,
Mhm.
but you have to understand the ramifications and want it. So this again goes back to how can I heal myself, or how can I do the deep dive of the work without relying on a healer to do the work for me, is
Mm.
that I have to do it on my own. I am the only one who can do it for myself.
Mhm. So let's talk about that because we get a lot of requests from people who have,
Done
number one,
all the
but
work.
and number one, been targeted since birth. Number
Oh yeah,
two, have done like 20 different modalities, hundreds of different sessions, and they're still in the same place they started with no relief and um, no recovery. And most of the time, it's because they are relying on other people to do it for them.
that's number one.
Yeah.
And number two,
Even when you go to a shaman, you're relying on that shaman to do it for you instead of you rescuing your own soul parts and facing your own shadow and doing all of those things. No one can do it for you.
you'll get relief for a while, I'm sure. Sometimes you'll get relief, but the problem still persists because you have ultimately have to be the one who has to withdraw your consent. So for example, if you do have like a really old contract, let's say you did make a contract with an old ass entity and they've been in your field for lifetimes and they've been following you all the live long day until it's like in our work, like through remote spirit release, for example, I can start the process of unraveling the contract, like burning contracts that, you don't really need to dig so much into. But there's some deep ones where there's a relationship involvement. I don't know,
You
there's
mean
other
a
things.
relationship with that entity that goes back sometimes even before creation.
Yeah, long time ago. So I can't break that for you. You actually have to be able to say, like, I'm fucking done. I see what you've done. No more. And that might be one layer. There might be other layers because, again, we're talking eons. It's not just so easy as from point A to B. There could be multiple points in
Hmm.
within the layering of things, like where it
Mhm.
gets that aspect of you. But oh, what about that other aspect of me? And that other aspect of me? And then, like there's a lot of things that we see that it's not just as easy as just taking it. That's why there's some, things that we explore with clients and it's like, oh, that again? Yeah, that again. It's just another layer and another part and or another whatever it is. It's not as it's very complex. So, yeah.
Another part that that entity has traumatized in some way, split off.
and enslaved.
and enslaved. Right. So there can be multiple or many aspects of the soul that are enslaved by one entity.
Yeah.
And you only find that out by digging, by exploring your consciousness. You're never going to know that on the surface. Like you have to do the work to the shadow work to start digging through what's underneath that iceberg. Like we talk about your consciousness being an iceberg, and you have access to this teeny tiny tip on the top as you're in your waking state. It's only when you start to travel through the other brainwave states that you start to see under the iceberg and what's hiding there. It's in those hidden, everything that's holding you back is in those hidden layers.
Yeah.
Everything. It's
Everything.
all under there.
Yeah. That's why it's like important that we say, like, you have to join us in the exploration of your own consciousness. Like, we can come with you as your VIP guests, but and Tina is there to guide through and ask the right questions in the exploration to dig and to find the root cause and so that it can be resolved. So, yeah, there are methods to how we go through it, and it's not a one trick pony. Some
It's not
people have been
McDonald's.
or drive through Jesus, like it's not anything like quick. It's,
No.
I mean, for ourselves, like we are still doing work on ourselves. There's always maintenance work to do. There's always a learning curve or new people that might come into our sphere that has a different type of, consciousness with them that we have not really mastered yet, that we're starting to understand deeper. So there's always a learning curve. But the people that come to us and they have, by the time they come to us, it's already like they've given up hope. Like we're really at the bottom, the last of the list.
It's unfortunate that people only find us when they're like literally lost all their money.
Desperate.
They're desperate. They've done 20,000 different modalities with no
And they have no trust,
change and no trust.
like zero trust. So it's like we're starting from like beneath scratch and really starting to build rapport. And again, we keep saying, we can't do it for you. We will do like one session just to understand, like the overall landscape of your consciousness. So we could kind of have like a guiding point, starting point. But the rest is up to you.
Yeah.
Like we cannot, you have to use whatever will you have left. You have to be so sick of suffering. You have to really want freedom and understand what freedom means.
Mhm.
You have to,
Responsibility. Freedom means
yeah,
responsibility.
yeah, accountability for self, not blaming anymore, getting out of your victimized state,
Mm.
rescuing all parts of self in really sometimes, scary places, especially if you aren't well versed in the darkness. Um, Really addressing your secondary gain of being a victim in your world. Like you have to let go of a lot of the identity stuff, the whole identity matrix, like that, like we said, like the soul parts. And it's like, the soul is kind of like the Akashic records. I think that everybody
Yeah.
knows and has heard that. So it's like easy to go in there into the Akashic records or your library of the soul and to look and see what needs to be healed so that you can finally put the library at peace and let go and just be the divine spark if that is your goal to get out of here. Like it's just really mastering yourself.
Yeah.
That's all
And
it is.
starting from the bottom up. You can't just go up
No.
without going down, without going down deep in under the iceberg and starting to lay that foundation for rising up above the water. You have to start at the bottom.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if you go straight to the top, and this happens to people sometimes when they force their initiation, if you will, through drugs like say psychoactive drugs, and they blast themselves out. Um, it creates a splitting and a psychosis because they don't have that foundation. and they're trying to skip it and just go to the top. This is why drugs don't work. And they
You
open you
just
up,
become an open portal.
right? And they open you up for more issues, more trouble, more entities. And it becomes a lot more complicated than it needed to be if you would have just went down first instead of up.
A lot of people can't face the reflection of self. Like, let's just face that facts. Like a lot. That's hard. I acknowledge that. It is
It's
very
hard.
hard.
Mm-hmm.
But again, if your goal is in, you know, wanting to get out of the matrix or whatever this trick trap is,
Mm-hmm.
you have to really understand yourself deeply, inside and out, understand the predator inside and out,
Mm.
so that you can not be manipulated or tricked. Because if you have vulnerabilities, that's how they're going to get you. That's just what it is. That's, I mean, you see it, mommy, like you're dying, and then, oh, there's grandma, there's mom, there's dad that passed away, and it's like, I want to go there, like feeling that love again, a love bombing of
Mm.
that. So it's like really understanding yourself, knowing what is, the trick of the mind, the tricks that they get for the inner child. So you need to learn how to fulfill all of the empty voids within our sick inner children.
That are deprived of love.
Yes.
So this is an important point. So when you start to retrieve your soul parts and come back into wholeness, what you're doing is you're filling in those voids and you're
Mm-hmm.
filling yourself with love so that you no longer feel that disconnection from love. And then when you feel it, if they try to trick you when you leave the body in that false white light, that love that you feel, you're
Mm-hmm.
not going to be entranced by it because you're already full.
Right. And for the peanut gallery in the back, we're like, oh, love's a trick. Well, that meaning the divine spark, like your divine light. You, you fill yourself with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's all these scattered soul parts that are stuck in all these places that are creating those voids within you that make it difficult for you to feel love within yourself, to fill yourself up with the love that you need. And so that's why when most people leave the body, they're getting tricked by the light because the light feels like love, but
Mm-hmm.
it's a false light. It's not true love. It's a lure. It's luring you. It's giving you all the love that you felt deprived of in life as a lure to lure you back in and to trick you again.
Yeah.
And it gives you that false sense of safety, of comfort. And so it's easy, again, convenient and easy
Mm-hmm.
to follow it, to fall into that, especially
Yeah.
when you're lacking in discernment and you're lacking in your own self love, in your own fullness of the being of who you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A good place to start to ask yourself is, like, to know what your tricks are, or what the tricks could be, is what am I seeking outside of myself that I can't, that I'm not seeking from myself? Like, to fill something within you.
Mm,
That's a good place to start.
yeah. That's
Because
really, that's really it. What am I seeking from outside of myself? That's what this whole system is designed to do,
mm,
to teach us from the time we come out of the womb to look outside of ourselves for everything, for help, for healing, for love, for safety, for comfort. Everything is designed to make us look outside of ourselves because we come into this world completely vulnerable. We have to look outside of ourselves to our parents for safety, love, connection, protection. And what happens when that's not there in the parents? That's when the soul fracturing starts, right out of the womb.
Word. Fucking does real fast.
Right. And most parents, honestly, most parents, I don't know if we've ever had any clients where they were like, "Oh yeah, like I got all the love I needed." Like it's very, very rare.
Yeah. If you're there, please comment down
Yeah.
below.
Yeah. Got all the love I needed. I felt so safe. It's very, very rare for that to happen here.
Yeah.
It would make the birth itself is traumatic,
But even
especially.
at that, even if they got all the love that they wanted and all the things, that kind of leaves them a blind spot for the darkness, right? So there's the trick itself. So I don't know what's better.
Right.
Just being able to be really, what I'm trying to teach my kids is like to be able to discern. That's really it.
Mm-hmm.
To discern
Yes.
tricks. Though it might look and sound good, does it feel good?
Mm. Or even if it feels good, even if it feels good, is it right?
Hmm.
Is it in alignment with me?
Yeah.
Because
There's
a
a lot
lot
of
of things
questions
can
to
feel
ask.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Because a
Yeah, you
lot of
gotta ask a lot
things
of questions.
can feel good, like love bombing, but they're
Yeah,
not good for you.
something's off, you know, to take that as like a flag right away. Something feels off, but I don't know what it is. Something's off. Okay, that's enough for me
Hmm.
to put it at least on the side and just sit with, like, I don't have to engage or let me just sit with it, process it.
It's a really important point, and I want to say it again. When you feel that something is off, but you don't know what, you don't need to know what. You just know that something's off, and that's it. You don't need to figure it out because figuring it out is going to suck you into the trick.
Yeah, that could definitely suck you in,
Yeah.
leading you with another carrot or light
Yeah.
into something else. Yeah. Yeah, it's so important to learn how to trust yourself among, above all else.
Mm,
But I can see how that could be really difficult for people who have been betrayed and abandoned and not being able to think for themselves or
mm,
having like a really tainted like everything is just so it's just traumatized. So
traumatized and split.
traumatized and split.
Because
So, yeah.
what we've seen in our sessions is that, it's a trauma and enslavement program. And a lot of people they have tricked here using karma as a tool for them
Hmm.
to trick people into thinking, oh, I did this bad thing in this lifetime, so now I need to come back and fix it.
Right.
They have a lot of people tricked in that belief system. I
Yeah.
think I wrote down, hold on. I think I wrote down what they said about, yeah. So when that soul leaves the body, they basically, that these entities say that this is the plan. This is the plan to use karma against him for this all of his lifetimes because he believes in it. He believes that he needs to pay restitution for these crimes that he committed in this past life, where he was a soldier and murdered people or whatever he did. Like he needs to come back next time and be the victim and feel what it feels like to be that victim. And it's how they keep the cycle going constantly, just back and forth victim, perpetrator, victim, perpetrator, victim, perpetrator, victim. And what's happening is not soul growth. What's happening is soul fragmentation
And degradation.
and degradation till you get to a lifetime where you're holding like 10% of your soul because it's all stuck and scattered through all this traumatic lifetimes. And that makes life extremely difficult for you. This is the root of a lot of autism, a lot of ADHD, a lot of these mental illnesses. It's soul fragmentation and entity attachment. Because what's happening is the soul's going through these lifetimes where, say like the one we saw today, where he's a Roman soldier, warrior, taking lives just like it's another day at the office,
Mhm.
brutally hurting, killing people. That's not evolving. How is that evolving soul? That's not evolving soul.
Yeah, that false sense of power,
The false sense of power.
disconnect, like a massive disconnect
Yeah,
from
massive
from your humanity.
emotional dissociation,
Mhm.
right? It's a loss of soul. It's a soul loss, a humanity loss. And in that remains a piece of the soul that gets stuck and stays there and trapped in time and space because of the brutality of that lifetime. It never fully moves on. And so when you come into
Truth.
another
Mhm.
lifetime, like now, like that resonance is still there. So what we saw today was because that resonance is still there of like fighting a fight, this fighting lifetime, that influences the person's attraction to video games, who are also like fighting games.
Where there's no consequence on no less.
Right, where there's no consequence. And also, it continues the soul siphoning. So the soul's continuing to be siphoned. You're putting more and more and more, more and more and more energy into this game. It's taking your life force, taking your life force, taking your life force. And it's not making you better, it's making you worse. So now you're finding life really, really difficult to engage with because your soul energy is not growing, not evolving, it's diminishing even more.
Yeah, and they
So
make these games super addictive. They give you rewards, so it's like fun, you
keep
know.
coming back, getting those little dopamine hits, keep coming back, escaping from real life. They make it so it's easy to just escape and go into that world.
Yeah. And if majority of our consciousness is there in the game and you're completely content in the game, when you pass away, you're like, fine, you're trapped. I want to stay here.
Yeah. It's really manipulative, like how they've set this whole thing up. It's really sick. They're really sick. Yeah. And each person is different with how they're being like manipulated to come back here. So you have to know what your vulnerabilities are. Like, do you want to, are you tricked by the karma belief? Like, do you feel like you need to repay your sins?
No,
Or maybe you're tricked into thinking that you can help Earth ascend, which is another big one.
no, not anymore. No.
If you go through this life of trauma and suffering, you're going to learn so much. And while you're doing it, you're going to help the Earth ascend and you're going to help
Yeah. It's feeding that
people be
spiritual
better.
ego.
Yes, that's another big one.
So many things, and not just one thing. It's a lot. There's a lot of tricks, a
Right.
lot
And
of
they
things to
know
check
you.
mark.
And up until this point, they pretty much know you better than you know yourself. So this whole empowerment process is about learning, is about knowing yourself,
Yeah.
self mastery.
Yeah.
What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? How are
What are your
you?
programs?
What are your programs? How are you? How easy are you to manipulate? How good is your discernment?
Yeah. We mirror it back to you. So if you're open, it shouldn't be hard, but sometimes it could be really difficult because then you have to question your reality, your belief systems.
Because there's a lot of dissolution of illusions. So dissolution,
Period.
dissolution. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you're really like literally dismantling yourself to start again, like to build your foundation from the ground up so that it's not you're knowing each piece of yourself.
Right. So you can reach into higher states of consciousness as you build that foundation. And each level builds upon the next. And it's like, how important is truth to you? Because some people would rather be comforted by a lie than know the truth.
Yeah, that's annoying sometimes for me. I guess because I think the hard part is being able to see and know and sense and you try to help somebody and they don't believe it. They'll believe someone else will say it, but not you. That's what's
Mm.
hard and annoying.
Mhm. Yeah, you know, when you consider that most people are working with like very little soul energy and how split and fragmented their consciousness is, like, and the level of like trauma and abuse that they've been through, like, I get it on some level, like it's hard to face the truth. It's hard to face the truth sometimes. Some people are
Yeah.
gung ho about facing it. Like some people are like, tell me, I want to know. Like, I want to know where my blind spots are. I want to know what you see. And I trust you that you're not manipulating me, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of entity manipulation here to the point where these entities work with agencies like shadow agencies to target specific bloodlines, um, specific like soul signatures. Like they know when you're coming in before you even get here. They already know. And they start to target you sometimes before, if not in the womb,
Hmm.
that targeting starts. So it takes a really strong divine spark to like have the willpower to get through that and to learn to discern, to learn how to stand up to for themselves, to learn how to fill themselves up with love and not depend on people, situations, things outside of themselves. But to really begin to source that from within because the divine spark is ever regenerating. So if you're tapping into the power of the divine spark, you're never going to be without energy and you're never going to be without love.
I think they're just looking for the extreme, the bliss, the butterflies, the I guess just
The
anything.
excitement.
Yeah.
That's the false light.
Yeah.
That's the love bombing. That's the love of the false light. Is the bliss, is the butterflies, is the excitement, is the like, this feels so good. That's the false light love. What does true love actually feel like? It feels like a contentment. It feels like peace. It feels like I'm home. It feels authentic. Like I don't have to put on any faces or like pretend to be something else.
Hmm.
It's not It doesn't give me a high.
Right. Yeah, it's not like going from one pendulum to the next. It's really like a balanced state
Mhm.
of authenticity, truth, just being
Hmm.
right there, like stable
Right.
and take and someone who can also like be accountable for their own triggers and feelings, not project it.
Yes. Self accountability. We should do a video on shadow projections. That would be good. Write
Oh
that down.
man, have we fucking had our share of experience around that? Jesus.
Yeah. It's
Jesus, take the
wild.
wheel.
Entities, I mean, human unconsciousness and human creation, shadow projections, are far more dangerous than entities because they have that creative power behind them of the divine spark.
Yeah. When that shadow is used in a intention and conscious, like in a conscious state.
Yeah, it's wild. You just reminded me of something talking about like truth and we're talking about like truth and love and the frequency of authenticity. The frequency of authenticity and truth is like so much higher than the frequency of love. I think it's like 40, I don't know if it's 40 or 400 times. It's something like big. Truth and authenticity is the frequency of it
So
is
they
like,
have been measured.
yes, so much higher than the frequency of love. Yeah, you could, if you look that up, you could find it. It's online. Yeah.
Oh, not on ChatGPT, okay?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Anything else that feels important to talk about?
Um, for those that are like skeptical of the work, it's probably an entity talking. And two, we've worked with a lot of people and have seen such profound shifts in their lives, especially like I want to highlight like like our clients that are a little bit older, like in their 60s, who have decided to do the work and to dig and to see like the multiple layer consciousness and really understanding themselves on a deep level. And it is life changing, like where they could finally feel like they can live their lives now, like they're free from being held back by that invisible hand.
Mm. Hmm.
Yeah. So it does take time, it does take work, it does take a lot of self-compassion, patience, and wanting a lot of
But
patience.
but the shifts start to happen right away. Once you make that commitment to yourself, the
Mm.
shifts start to happen right away. And sometimes we even start working with you in a dream space before like the session is even scheduled, which is wild. It's wild because all it takes is for you to say yes. And just saying yes and deeply committing to yourself gets that momentum going, gets the ball rolling, and things
Yeah,
start to shift almost immediately.
like your higher self, your mind, body, soul, spirit all start to communicate, start the process of communication that they're on board to a big shift, a big change.
Yeah.
And so things will naturally start to unfold.
Mhm. Yeah, it's amazing to watch, to walk someone through that process and to see the shifts and the changes that happened um, so rapidly and to see just the the peace that brings into their life. You know, when you start to clean a lot of these things up, you feel so much more peaceful. Less anxiety, less depression, able to sleep at night, like just feeling good and like grounded in yourself, in your body
For the first time ever, probably.
for the first time ever. Yeah. Yeah. So I just wanted to highlight this because the way that the wording of this came through when we were talking about, um, the impulsivity of this person, how they were struggling with that impulsivity. He said, I asked, I think, like, how is that happening? And he said, the demons. And I said, well, how are the demons gaining access to you? And he says, through the game and other things, like other internet things, online things, like YouTube and the internet as a whole, the World Wide Web. That's why it's called the World Wide Web. And he was seeing the word daemon, which is associated with technology somehow. But he called it a demonic infiltration network where you enter the demiurge's field of influence. You become trapped in the web.
Yeah, when he was saying that, I felt such resonance to all of that. I was like, yep, yes,
Yes.
sir, yes, sir, you got it.
hmm And so, yeah. So what he said also was like this part of him that was wrapped up in the web, the little 13-year-old self, they were like lighting up his chakras, like so they could feed off of them. Right. So that's another topic about the chakras and how they are not organic to the um, energy system, but they are purposefully created to separate your energy into these different centers. Why would our energy need to be separated? That doesn't make any sense whatsoever, unless they were harvesting it in some way, siphoning it, so separating it to have easier access to.
So manipulative to add to give such an add-on. Do you remember that year when YouTube put that album on our all our phones? Do you remember that?
Mhm.
I'm sure people who are here, they like in my music thing on my phone, YouTube had given like a free album to everybody. Like, and I'm like, I don't want this. Like they just put it on our phone. That's what it feels like with the chakras or the other
Mm,
overlays that are not.
yeah.
I go, I didn't ask for this. I didn't ask for this, YouTube.
Yeah, yeah,
And you
yeah.
couldn't delete it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, at least I didn't figure out at the time. Like I was just like, how do you fucking get rid of this shit? Like, yeah.
Interesting.
Mhm.
Yeah. And so it makes no sense whatsoever that they would separate our energy into, and they even talk about like the energy chakras outside of the body too. I'm like, why? Why? We should just be a singular column of light, maybe with the center in the heart, singular column of light connecting above to below. Like there's no reason for all this separation, right? So, one of the other components of that is the Kundalini. And some people are born with the Kundalini in the chakra system at the root, and some people invite it in later.
Oh, girl.
Yeah. And that is another manipulation because the Kundalini is serpent energy. And from what we've seen, it travels up the spine and it hits on the different energy centers. But once it gets locked into the third eye, so it's like the snake comes up the spine and it locks into the third eye. Then once it locks in, it completely controls your perception. If you're not doing what the snake wants you to do, it will make your life a living hell. So in a way, it will make you feel like, oh, the feeling of oneness or feel like you're getting insights. But those insights are being manipulated by the snake. It's not true. It's not your divine spark. It's an external energy
Mm-hmm.
that's not native to your divine spark. So I think we should probably do like a video about that.
In about 2 years.
I know. Um, yeah. Some people are lucky where they catch it before it locks into the third eye, where it's like it's
Mm-hmm.
maybe only at the level of the heart right now, but when we find it and clear that. But it takes some time because they've been actively opening and inviting that snake into their system. And it's very destructive to the energy systems.
Yeah. Once it locks into that third eye, like you can get like a full blown psychosis.
Yeah.
Usually people's worlds like start to fall apart after at that point.
Hmm. Yeah. Okay. So,
On
any
that
final
note,
thoughts? Any positive thoughts to end with?
good luck, everybody. No, I don't say uh, positive messages. Well, I think if you're here, I hope you took away some important notes. We don't want to sound like Debbie Downers and, saying like you can't have fun here. You can have fun here. I think it's just a matter of being conscious while you're doing what you're doing and not, like if you are consuming, to be consciously aware of what's happening and not getting lost in it. So I think the goal, and we always say this to people like who have suffered so much, is that you can finally get to a place where you can hold all the information of what you know about this place. And at the same time, you can find joy here. Those pockets of joy that really do exist here. They do.
Mhm.
And yeah, I think that that becomes hopeful because then it's like, okay, so I don't have to suffer anymore. I don't have to stay in my, like, be a victim or, a slave to my suffering. No, you don't. Your life can change into balanced state where you can hold the darkness and the light and live right in the middle.
Right. And reminding people that this is a realm of duality. So if there's darkness, then there must be light.
Yeah, you just have to know where, but yeah, you just have to really be able to discern the light though. So
Yeah, you need the right
that's a
light.
disclaimer. There's a disclaimer there.
You need the
But
right light.
but
But it's the
well, but
light
the
of the
healing,
divine smart. It's the light of the divine spark,
yeah.
right? That transcends the duality. So if you have darkness here and light here, which is, like Aramonic energy and Luciferic energy, the only way to transcend that is to come to the neutrality in the middle. The middle path is the way
Mhm.
to balance that.
Yeah. Through the healing work, you'll be able to discern a lot better
Mm.
and know when the light is the trick.
Mm.
So it's really important to start again. Once you know thyself, it's a lot easier.
Mhm. Yeah. And I really love the point you made about discernment and how really out of everything, like sharpening your discernment is the most important tool you can have, really.
Yes. Yes. A grounded discernment.
Grounded discernment.
Yeah.
Yeah. And functioning like from the heart, the divine spark is the energy of the heart. The magnetic field of the heart is huge. It's something like what 5 times bigger than than the EMF field of the brain.
Mm.
The field of the heart is really big, and starting to work with that energy of the divine spark, letting it fill up your body and extending that out around you in all directions and starting to use that as your protective boundary, you know? So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Anyway, thanks for chatting with me today. And
Thank you.
that was
We'll
great.
see. Yeah. And we'll see you guys in the next episode, whenever that may be. Hopefully sooner than later. But take care of yourselves. And if you want to contact us, please comment down below and or email us at quantumhealingwithtina, TENA @gmail.com.
Yes, we would love to hear from you. See you guys.
Take
Bye.
care.
Take care.
Yes.